The wind howled across the prairie, sweeping dust into the small town of Willow Creek. On the steps of the old mercantile sat Clara, a weary widow wrapped in a faded shawl. Her little girl, Annie, no older than 6, leaned against her shoulder, clutching a worn rag doll. They had nowhere to go, no family, and no home. Clara's husband had died in a rail accident the previous winter, and since then, life had been a daily fight for survival. She had sold nearly everything she owned, her wedding ring, her dishes, even her Sunday dresser, just to keep Annie fed. But now, with the last of their money gone, Clara's spirit was close to breaking. Across the street, Daniel Holt, a rugged rancher with a strong jaw and eyes as steady as the horizon, tied his horse to the hitching post. He was known in Willow Creek as a hard-working man, respected for running one of the largest ranches in the county. But behind his calm demeanor lay a loneliness he carried since the death of his wife years ago. Left alone, he had raised his own daughter, Lily, now 8, but he knew she needed more than a father, as she needed a mother's care. As Daniel stepped into the mercantile, he caught sight of Clara and Annie. The sight struck him, Clara's quiet dignity, despite her hardship, and the way Annie pressed into her mother's side as if she were her whole world. That evening, as Daniel was saddling up to ride home, he saw something that tugged at him deeply. His daughter Lily, who had come into town with him, had walked over to Annie. The two girls were talking softly, holding hands like they had known each other forever. Lily looked back at him, her eyes pleading in a way only a child's could. "Papa," Lily whispered when she returned to him, "she's nice. And she doesn't have a home. Can we a broken bar, can we help them?" Daniel felt a knot form in his chest. He was a man who dealt in cattle, fences, and land, and not in matters of the heart. Yet, in that moment, a decision planted itself firmly in him. The next morning, Daniel approached Clara. She looked startled as he removed his hat, his voice low but steady. "Mrs. Matthews," he began, "I've seen the way you fight for your little girl, and I know something about raising a child alone. My Lily a broken bar, she needs a mother, and I reckon your Annie needs a home." Clara blinked, not understanding at first. Her heart pounded as Daniel went on. "I'm not a man to speak fancy, but I'll speak plain. Marry me, not for riches or for pride, but so our girls can have what they're missing. A family." Tears welled in Clara's eyes. She searched his face, expecting pity or charity, but instead she found sincerity and strength. Daniel wasn't offering out of obligation, he was offering out of hope. She thought of Annie, who that very morning had asked, "Mama, do we have to sleep outside again tonight?" Clara's heart ached with both love and fear. Could she trust this man? Could she dare to believe in a new life? Annie tugged her hand just then, and Lily came running, wrapping her arms around Clara's waist with childlike trust. "Please," Lily whispered, "come with us." Clara's defenses crumbled. With trembling lips, she nodded. "Yes, a broken bar, yes, I'll marry you." The weeks that followed brought a quiet joy neither Clara nor Daniel had thought possible. Clara and Annie moved to the Holt Ranch, where the girls became inseparable, racing through fields, feeding chickens, and whispering secrets under the wide sky. Daniel, true to his word, treated Annie as his own, and in return, Clara's gentle presence brought peace back into his home. One evening, under the soft glow of lantern light, Daniel reached for Clara's hand across the table. "I meant what I said that day in town," he murmured. "It wasn't just for the children. It's because I saw in you the kind of woman I've prayed for. Strong, kind, and brave." Clara's eyes filled with warmth as she leaned closer. "And I see in you the kind of man I never thought I'd find again." Outside, their daughter's laughter rang like music on the breeze. The prairie stretched endlessly before them, wild and untamed, but within their little ranch house, a family had been stitched together not by blood, but by love, need, and grace. And so, under the endless sky of Willow Creek, a rancher, a widow, and two lonely daughters found the home they had all been searching for in each other.